Hello there, and welcome to this webinar called Mystery Shopping Live Calls. I'm Catherine Maley, author of Your Aesthetic Practice, and I have decided I am the cosmetic patient attraction and conversion specialist because for 16 years I have been trying to figure out how to get you more patients and how to get them to say yes. So, as we all know, calls are everything. So I'm really glad you're here, and I'm assuming you're on your lunch hour on the East Coast or on the West Coast. You've just started your day, so I'm going to keep this pretty tight. So what I'll do is I'll set the stage first, and then I'm going to tell you what we're looking for in the mystery calls, and then you're going to hear the live mystery calls, and then I'll critique them as I see some improvement that could be made. And then you'll have an opportunity to get further training so you or your phone staff know exactly how to professionally represent the practice. And the goal is always to convert more callers to appointments. So here's what I know. The receptionist plays one of the most pivotal roles in the cosmetic practice. Now, although everybody's important in the practice, the no one's ever going to meet you. No one's ever going to get into your building, go see you, visit the doctor, visit the other patient or the other staff if they don't have a good experience on the telephone call with your receptionist. Because nothing is more important in aesthetic medicine than patient relations. We have to remember that cosmetic patients don't need aesthetic services. Nobody needs liposuction. I know we feel like we do, but we don't need that. Everybody wants cosmetic rejuvenation. So when they're spending their own disposable money on these elective procedures, they expect a certain level of service. Now that starts with the first telephone call they make to your office. And if you really think about it, especially internet stranger patients, all they have to go on is the website that they saw. And then what's the next thing that builds a brand or builds an image? It's the phone call, right? The phone call they make. So let's look at it this way. The aesthetic patient's actually a consumer with emotional wants. So let's just talk about the female patient. What does she want? Well, she wants a solution to pain she feels when she looks in the mirror. Isn't that right? Boy, how much time do we spend in the mirror looking at our flaws? I think that's just built into the female DNA. So the bottom line is she wants to feel better about herself. And she wants to be more confident, but she's not going to tell you that. I want to be more confident. So think about how awkward this phone call can be for somebody who's not in our industry. Think about that. They're super uncomfortable about something about themselves. So they're calling, looking for guidance. They're looking for reassurance, and they're looking for answers. What they really are looking for is somebody to make them feel like this is the right place for them to get help. So it's the receptionist's responsibility to make each caller feel special, comfortable, and cared about. And why is that? Because that call can be worth thousands of dollars in aesthetic services from the caller, and then additional thousands of dollars in revenues from the friends they refer. I mean, one phone call, oh boy, do you have any idea what bad phones cost you? I was so surprised when I learned this many years ago. So just in case you've never seen this, I'd like to do some math right now. So let's say you lose a caller a day. And I know a lot of you don't think you do, but I assure you, after mystery shopping for 16 years, you are. So, so I just wanted to say $2,000 for an average order size. That is on such the low side because when you really are on your game, somebody who calls you, even if it's just for Botox, they're worth thousands way more than 2,000 because they're going to come back again and again and they're going to refer their friends. So I went with 2,000 because we could be talking about an injectable, a laser procedure, or a surgical procedure. Okay. So if you lose 2,000 a day and you multiply that out, typically there are 22 working days per month. And then of course there are 12 months per year. Do you realize that is over $500,000 a year in lost revenue? Because you're just not skilled enough to take that caller to an appointment. So here's what we're going to do. This is how I grade a phone call. There are so many more criteria or variables to use, but I love to keep things simple. The best thing you can always do with anything is to get the fundamentals down first and then get fancy with the details. But right now, if you could just do the fundamentals on every call, this would greatly improve your conversions. As a matter of fact, it's been proven it can convert. If you would just get the fundamentals down, you can improve your phones 20 to 30% within the next, 48 hours. So please, here's what I use to go on. Do you answer the phone within 3 rings by a human body? That is crucial when you live in the competitive world that we live in with this cosmetic rejuvenation. If you don't answer that phone, they're just going to hang up and call the next person that they're just going right down the line with the search results on the internet. So you've got to answer the phone. Number 2, is there a warm greeting? Did they use the doctor's name? Now, on these mystery calls, I had to bleep that out because I wanted to keep it anonymous. So I will have to tell you if it was a warm greeting or not. Okay. But when I say a warm greeting, what I'm looking for is voice tone. Okay. And I think you'll hear that yeah, you'll hear it anyway. But I'm also looking for them to say the doctor's practice name, or at least the practice name, because I can't tell you how many times people don't bother saying that. And then the caller's saying, who am I calling? That's odd. Also, number 3, do they bond with the caller in any way, shape, or form? Another thing I know about human beings, and especially female human beings, we are buying more of a relationship than almost anything else. That's an issue because you don't have a relationship with somebody calling you cold. So you've got to use your voice and good questions to bond quickly. That's another thing. You've got to do it so quickly. Here's the 4th thing. Did you ask the referral source? How'd you hear about us, Sally? Of course, I'd be happy to help you. How'd you hear about us? The reason you're asking that is to find out where are they on the decision-making spectrum. Is this the first phone call they have ever made to anybody about a procedure so they know nothing about it? Or is this the girlfriend who's calling because she just saw her girlfriend and she wants what she had? Whole different conversation, isn't it? So you want to find out now so you know how much time to spend on this call, and you just get a feeling for where you should be going. Then, did you get the caller's contact information? That's a tough one. And then the big one. Did you ask for the appointment? Wow, that is a tough one. I don't know why, but I don't believe the receptionist has ever been trained. I will say most, have not been trained to know their number one objective, and that is to ask for the appointment. Because you know the old saying, ask and it shall be received, or ask and it is given, or however you want to say that. It's like biblical times. You've got to ask for what you want. And what do you want as a receptionist? You want to book an appointment. Okay? So with that, we're going to go ahead and do some calls, and let's see how this goes. You got to love technology. We have worked on this to death. I sure hope this works okay. Now, some of the calls, you know what, the quality is going to be funky because they're just, it's technology and it's people clicking around and making noise. So we'll just do what we can here. All right, we're going to start the first one with a breast aug. I did have to take out the introduction, but let's just see how this goes.
Hi, yeah, maybe you can give me a little bit of information. I've been thinking about getting my breasts done. Okay. So, well, how much is it, first of all? So, for breast augmentation, that is our specialty procedure, and it's going to start at $7,000. Okay. And that price includes everything like facility and anesthesia. And then our next available day for a consultation is going to be on Tuesday, March 8th in the afternoon if you're interested in booking a consultation. Well, how long would I need? I know I can answer my questions at the consult, but how much time would I need off work? I'm just trying to plan ahead. So typically, our girls are back to work within 4 to 5 days, It just kind of depends on what you do for work, but we don't want you tugging, pushing, or pulling anything over 20 pounds for the first 4 weeks. Okay. 4 to 5 days doesn't have that at all, though. Yes. Do people ever just get the lift without the augmentation, too? Yes, ma'am, definitely. That is also one of our other procedures. And that we specialize in. So the lift without an implant is going to be $8,900. Okay. And that also includes facility anesthesia. Great. Thanks for answering my questions. No problem. Were you interested in scheduling a consultation? I am. I just have to look at if you said Tuesday the 8th is the next available day. Yes. That's a good day for me. Yeah, can I call you right back? Sure. Or could I get your name and number? Maybe we can give you a call in a few days. Yeah, sure. Do you mind if I give you my email instead? Okay. So my name's Gia. Gia? G-I-A. Uh-huh. Laslow, Laslow. Okay. And then you can send it to Gia, Gialas 454 at Gmail. But I'll probably call you back. Down here. Alrighty, Gia. Thank you so much. Hope you have a nice day. Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, that was a great call. And you didn't hear the greeting, but she did a really nice job with the greeting. I love her voice. It was calm. It's just very calm, and it's a breast aug patient. And I'm just going to generalize here, but let me just say what I have to say about breast aug patients. They have a tendency to be young, to be price driven, they don't care a lot about things other than the price. It just seems. So in this case, it was a young girl talking to a young girl. And so I think she handled it very nicely. She actually did give the doctor's name early on. And my staff who'd made the phone call said she liked her. She was fantastic. She liked that she got the answers that she wanted. And she did ask for the consultation. She actually asked for it twice, so good for her. And she was very friendly. She did say it's our specialty. I wish she had gone on a bit longer because it's more than just their specialty. I mean, this guy has done mega many breast augs. I would have liked for her to have said something more about that before she just started throwing out pricing. And then let's just talk about price. He is not the cheapest guy on the block. If anything, he charges, he's always on the high side. She should always pre-frame him as the best, then mention the price, but then also mention we have easy pay plans. Because I'm sure the caller's thinking $7,000. I don't know if she got sticker shock or not, but whew, that was a lot to just throw out there. And then she should have, to bond just a little bit. You can tell that she was reading from a script, which was fine because she had good answers and she was smooth about it. But when she said, well, how long is the downtime? Well, it's 4 to 5 days, but then it depends on what kind of work you do. That's a really good time to say, what kind of work do you do? To just do a little bonding and try to get to know the patient a bit better. And I love that she went for the contact information because at first I thought she was just going to let the caller go because the caller said, let me call you back. But good for her. She stayed with it and said, well, let me go ahead and get your name and number and we'll give you a call in a couple of days. And she didn't get the phone number, but she did get an email. By the way, that's a fake email. So good for her. I think she did a very nice job here. Okay. By the way, if you have any comments or questions, go ahead and type them into the question box anonymously, and I'll answer them towards the end. And especially if you have any comments on what you thought about the call, because that's what we're here for, to do a little training here. Now, let's go on and talk about CoolSculpting because that seems to be a super popular procedure. And let's see how they do.
Hi, maybe you can help me. I've looked into CoolSculpting a little bit, but I was just wondering kind of how much it is. I saw on your website some of the details, but I'll just give you a quick overview of it, okay? Okay. Okay, so CoolSculpting is really great for areas of pinchable fat. The treatment takes 1 hour's time, and then you see results after about 3 to 4 months. And then as far as pricing goes, it starts at $750 an area, just depending on the size of the area to be treated. You're always more than welcome to come in for a complimentary consultation. That way you can find out, how many areas you qualify for and if you're a good candidate, and then you could decide then if you wanted to go ahead with treatment. Oh, okay. So it's something that, since it only takes an hour, it can be like in a lunch hour. It's not painful or anything. It can. It's different, and depending on where you get it, it can be a sensitive area. I did my lower abdomen, and I did feel kind of crampy. But I've heard that areas such as like your love handles, because they're a little more tough, are not painful. And even though I was a little bit uncomfortable, I still did, good dinner that night. So it's not, yeah, it's definitely a non-invasive procedure. Well, can I ask you how many sessions you had to notice a difference in your time? I just did one, but sometimes people do, 2 to 3. But it's not uncommon for people just to do one, just because everyone's so different. So I should probably schedule a consult to find out how many sessions I need. Exactly, yeah. So then you find out the exact cost. Because it's a 25% fat reduction. Sometimes people want their abdomen, and some people's abdomens are just shaped differently than others. And so sometimes, one person might require a couple different applicators. So you absolutely can come in for a consultation, and then we would, give you a quote, and then you could decide, if and when you wanted treatment. Do you guys ever do like the first treatment on the same day as the consultation? Sometimes we generally just try to stray away from that though, just because it would take longer to get you on the schedule, and sometimes you may not be a candidate. We can see. Do you live far away? No, I live pretty close, but no, that answers my question. If you don't mind, I'm just gonna call you right back. Yeah, no problem. Do you have any appointments around Tuesday next week? Tuesday, I do have a couple scattered openings, so yeah, feel free just to give me a call back. Okay, well, thank you for your help. My name is Angela. Angela, it was nice talking to you. Thank you.
Okay, so I love her voice. The thing I had to bleep out was the great introduction. She had a really good, friendly voice and good introduction, and I really like that. I love the words that she is using. Words make a big difference. She's not saying, let me see. She did say painful once, but she used much better words like sensitive or crampy or uncomfortable. Think about that, because patients are saying that to themselves anyway. Like, God, is this going to hurt? How much is this going to cost? How big of a hassle is it? How much downtime is it? So think ahead, words that you can use that are not going to hurt the decision-making process. So great words that she used. I love that she shared her own experience. Anytime you can talk one-on-one with a patient to talk about your own experience, that's the bonding we're looking for, because now you're not just answering the phone. You're actually an advocate and a trusted testimonial, walking, talking testimonial, because you've had the same procedure done and it wasn't that bad at all. So I love that. Now, this is weird. She finally got her name. She was so good. You know what I think happened? She was so good at answering the questions about CoolSculpting that she forgot the objective, which is get the contact information and keep asking for the appointment. And don't badger somebody, but you always want to keep suggesting, and I can get you in here on a certain day. So she got the name finally, but then never any contact information. So that's too bad, because when it's all said and done, if I had to grade this, I'd have to, you would probably say, oh, wow, she probably got a B or B plus. But the way I'm looking at it, she lost it because she was so close. She should have tried a little harder, and I would have given her a C. Do you know what I mean? Because you have to remember the objective, and that is to book the appointment for somebody who's, a good candidate. Okay, now let's go on to tummy tuck. And let's see how she does. By the way, we bleep this out too, so it starts off kind of abruptly.
Institute for Plastic Surgery. This is Vicki. May I help you? Hi, I am thinking about a tummy tuck, But how much time would I need to take off for that?
At least 3 weeks. At least 3 weeks. It depends on what you do, too. If you're just sitting behind a computer or desk, at least 3 weeks. You're going to be down at least 2 from the very get-go.
Okay. All right, and then how much does it run?
Let me just check real quick here. I'll give you a quick estimate. I think it's 68, but let me check. Yes, 68.75.
And then do you offer financing?
We do have financing. We ask you to go through Care Credit first. That's our first line of that. And then we do have others that we can put you through in-house financing.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so she answered the phone. The voice is just killing me here. No friendliness to it at all at the beginning. It sounded friendlier towards the end, but you only have seconds for that patient to decide if they want to continue on that call and how they feel about it. So I wish she had answered with just more voice tone. It was so gruff. It was just so gruff. She was honing in on, at least 3 weeks, but then she said at least 2 weeks. So I'm not sure what that was about, but you want to buffer this a little bit, because some of this is really surprising to patients. I mean, who has 3 weeks to take off of work, So you really have to quantify what you mean by 3 weeks and build into that a bit. There was no bonding by asking questions. Again, when somebody says, when you say to somebody, well, it depends on what you do for work. Honestly, that's a really good time to say, okay, so what do you do for work? And that will help me determine what kind of downtime you could anticipate. And then you give them a range of time. Then there was absolutely no pre-framing at all. She was just throwing out that number, that 68.75. And I just think people will get sticker shock with things like that. So preface it a bit with why it's 68.75, what that includes. And then, if you notice, the caller was saying, do you have any financing? I would try to build that right in when you're talking about price, build in that. And, we offer easy pay plans. So that is that. In this particular call, she never got the name. She never bonded. She never asked for the appointment. I would have given her a F. Sorry, but it's true. You have to, you gotta, every single phone call means something to you. And that one, I guarantee she lost. I guarantee it, because I always ask my staff, would you have booked an appointment? And they said, nope. Okay, let's go on to Cellulite and see how they do.
Thank you for calling the Vein and Aesthetic Center. Your call is very important to us. Please listen to the following options carefully. To schedule an appointment or for new patient consultations, press 1. For questions regarding your insurance benefits, press 2. For the S. Please hold a moment. Good afternoon. How may I help you?
Hello. I was just hoping to talk to somebody about some cellulite treatment that I am interested in.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I just have a couple problem areas that I wanted to get rid of, and I just don't know what that process is like, or what I need to do. Where should I start?
Okay. Hold on 1 second for me, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Ma'am?
I'm here.
Okay, the lady that you would need to speak with is on the other line. May I get your name and number and have her return your call?
Of course.
Okay.
My name's Gia,
Gia?
and then my phone number, are you ready for it?
Yes, ma'am.
228
Okay.
586.
Okay.
9175. How long do you think it'll be?
It shouldn't be long.
Okay, no problem. If for some reason I don't answer, would you
If you want to hold on, she just got off of the phone.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Hi, Tia. This is Elisa.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So you wanted to know about the cellulite treatment?
Yeah, I just have like a few problem areas, like near my armpit. I don't know if that's like a difficult spot to treat, but I certainly haven't been able to work it off by working out, so I don't know. Do people ever get it there?
What we can do is I can set you up for a consult, and the doctor will look at, what areas that you want specifically on the body, and then we can go from there.
Sure. Or do people, well, I'm just curious, like, would I buy, like, a package of treatments, or do you just go by how many sessions you need for that spot?
We do offer packages, but I guess it depends, on how many sections. If you only have one section, you may not need, that many treatments.
Right. How much is it?
The consult fee would be $100, and that would go towards your, whatever you decide to go with.
Okay. And then just per treatment, if like a ballpark would be great.
It would really depend on how big of an area, and
okay. I see. All right.
You can let you know once you come in.
Okay, no problem.
Appointment?
When's your next available? What's the latest you can do? It'd have to be after an appointment.
The latest time?
Mm-hmm.
You mean? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. If you wanted to come in, well, on Fridays we're only open half a day, so that's kind of when we have the most available as of right now for this week. But next week,
I'm going to be able to work it out for this Friday. What time do you have there?
if you wanted to come in, a little earlier, we have something at 10.
10 on this Friday. That might work. Do you mind if I call you right back? Should I just ask for you?
Yeah, my name is Elisa.
Elisa. Okay. All right, let me just check with my work, and then I'll call you right back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Alrighty. So again, I'm really big on the voice part. I think both of the women were okay, but they need more voice. If you don't bring a friendly voice tone to this, I mean, how else are you going to bond instantly? That's how you do it with the voice. So both were okay. I know this was probably like a Southern call because I kept hearing ma'am. So that's probably a cultural thing. But I actually would leave out that kind of stuff like ma'am, honey, sweetie. It doesn't go well with everybody. So just, just try to be politically correct in everything you're saying on a phone call. Going to be put on hold without getting the caller's information would have been a really bad thing. And she would never have gotten it, although she was, the girl who was going to transfer, at least she said, oh, well, let me have her call you back. And then she got the name and phone number. But just the rule here is you never transfer anybody without getting their contact information ahead of time. But then she was going to transfer it, and it was clunky, but not awful. And then Lisa got on. And at least the caller didn't have to start all over again. At least Lisa knew she was calling about cellulite, which was good. And then she did talk about the consult. Did she? Gosh, I can't remember if she talked about the consult fee. Let me just say this. If there is a consult fee, you have got to mention it now. There can never be any miscommunication about price. It'll hurt you in your online reviews. It'll hurt the relationship. They've got to know everything ahead of time. So if there is a consultation fee, please make sure you mention it now, not later. And then there was really no need for her to say we're only open half a day on Friday. That means, nobody needs to know that. They just need to know, what the availability is. By the way, I often hear too things like, oh, the doctor doesn't work on Friday afternoons. I mean, you don't need to say that. You just say we have availability on at 10 o'clock on Friday. Does that work for you? She would have actually, the receptionist got the phone number and the name, but Lisa, she did not get the phone number at the end, but maybe it's because she already knew that the phone number was gotten. But then she let the caller go. She did a good job trying to go for the close, but then she let it go. So I would give her probably a C on that one. It wasn't bad. I mean, but the caller was definitely interested, so I would have tried to push just a little bit more. And then here's our last call. It is for fillers. Let's see how they do.
Hi, I've been thinking about getting fillers. Is that something your office does?
Yes, we do offer fillers. What area were you looking at getting treated?
I've been thinking about my lips, and I'm getting like little lines around like my lips, and I was wondering if that would help, like getting fillers.
For sure. We can treat that. What was your name, sorry?
Molly.
Molly. Okay, Molly. My name is Anna. We can treat that area. All our treatments start with a complimentary consultation with Dr. Jaffer.
Whoop.
I was wondering, do you have like different types or?
We do. So we've got two different fillers that we use. One is called Juvederm and one is called Astellas. And which one would be used would be determined at your consult once Dr. Jaffer assesses the area.
I see. And are the results like temporary?
Yeah, they don't last forever. So we do have fillers that last, 3 to 4 months, and then we have longer ones that can last, I believe some last up to a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And how much is it usually?
So it just ranges per syringe. It can be anywhere from $500 to $600.
Oh, okay, I see. And is there, like, how long is the procedure? Can I go to work after? Or
you definitely can go to work after. You might have a bit of swelling. The odd time you can get a little bruise, but nothing that can't be covered. Many people leave here and they go back to work or do what they normally do. Yeah.
So it's like a short procedure? How long is it?
Yeah, so you'll be in for no more than usually half an hour. So with the first treatment, we could book you for the consult and the treatment on the same day. And then you would be here a little longer, maybe 45 minutes, because we're including the consultation.
I see. And can it affect my speech? I like talk. I have to talk a lot at work.
At work? No, you should be fine. Dr. Jaffer does normally use a bit of a topical anesthetic on top, but it wears off quite quickly.
Oh, okay. I see. That's nice.
Yeah. Molly, how did you hear about us?
Oh, just on the internet.
Oh, on the internet. Okay. Okay. And he does have some availability this week. I do have time on Thursday the 23rd.
Is there anything on like Friday?
I do have some time on Friday. What time were you thinking?
Like earlier would be better.
Okay. Are you thinking to have the treatment that day too?
Maybe. Well, depends how the consult goes. Maybe. Yes. I would have to talk to my office manager and see which day I can take off. Or what time. I clearly don't need the whole day. That's my
So if you wanted just a consultation that day, at my earliest is 11:45.
11:45.
I want to start with that. Yeah.
That's fine. Maybe I can Yeah. Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, why don't we start with that? And I just have to.
a little bit of
I
information.
just have to talk to my office manager first to make sure, because maybe I can take a Thursday off instead of Friday. I don't
Okay,
know.
do you want me to just book it so you hold the spot and then you can call me back?
Sure, that would be
Okay,
great.
let's do that. Molly, what was your last name?
Walker. Walker.
Okay, and your date of birth?
August 19th.
Oh, your birthday's coming up.
Yeah.
Or just passed. Or it is, yeah, yesterday.
It's coming up.
Or next month, sorry.
Yeah.
August 19th, and the year?
1983.
83. Okay, great. And, sorry, give me a sec. What's the number that we can, if we needed to reach you?
Okay, I'll stop it there. So this receptionist, I think, did a superb job. She answered the phone. You didn't hear her greeting, but it was a very nice greeting. She has a nice voice. It's not totally excited, but it's a nice, calm voice, so it's fine. She asked some great questions. She described the fillers nicely. She didn't get into any complications. She just answered it with the two fillers, so she kept it simple. That was good. I love that she kept mentioning the consultation. I think she mentioned it 3 times. She ended up asking how you heard about us. She went right in and offered days and times. What was great was the caller kept throwing her off, like kept kind of moving things around. What was her name? Gosh, I forgot her name. So she introduced herself, Anna, I think. But she stayed very focused on what? On booking and keeping control of the call. And she got the contact information. So I really like this call. I would give her an A. and let me know what you think too. So, okay, now you've heard the live calls, and these are really common in practices all over the US. And here's what I'll say. Usually the call is not bad. You know, that's the funny thing. Usually, like, you'll say, oh no, we're pretty good. The problem is the calls are just not great. And that's why the caller isn't booking. So let me ask you a question. From what you just heard, do you think you or your staff could convert more callers if they had the right training? Because it's the little nuances that are missing here to make a call go from good to fantastic, which is a booked appointment. So, what would it be worth to you to convert one more patient per day? So, as we went over before, let's say it's just a Botox patient. If you multiply it out, you're still losing $132,000 a year. Or let's say it's a laser patient or a filler patient, and that's worth $1,000. That's still $264,000 a year that you're losing because you don't have the fine tuning of your staff training. And then, of course, as we talked before, if they're worth $2,000 a year, which is still super on the low side, that's $500,000. So here's what other practices have said when they invested in staff training. Here's what Gina said. We never realized what a difference the right words make. Catherine's training materials taught our receptionist how to phrase things properly to be more effective. Our receptionist sounds much more caring and professional, and she closes more appointments than ever before. Isn't that what you want? And then here's another one. Thank you for the lunch training for staff. It's a great learning tool for our secretary. Since it's an interactive, it gives her a lot of confidence. We're seeing results already in the way the phone is answered, and the conversion of calls to consultations grows every day. Thank you. So here's what I'm going to propose to turn your receptionist into a pro in no time. Because here's the goal. We want your receptionist to be happier and more confident in their role. And we want them to convert more callers to appointments. And then, of course, in turn, that'll give you more prospective patients visiting you, so it gets them closer to a yes. And that's what we're all looking for, right? So I'd like you to join me on my next online training called How to Convert Callers to Appointments. Now, it's coming up quickly. It's actually next Wednesday on August 3rd. And for the East Coast, it's at 12 noon or 3 p.m. And then on the West Coast, it's at 9 a.m. or 12 noon, because I'm trying to catch you at the lunch hours, because I really need phone staff to be there. Anybody who touches the phones, by the way, not just the receptionist. Anybody who touches the phones should have this type of training, because it's just imperative. You just can't miss these phone calls anymore. Honestly, it's just too competitive. So here are the deliverables you're going to get. So in this training, you're going to get the exact scripts to say to greet and bond with the caller, to take control of the call, and then also to qualify the caller, but quickly, and then handle the old price shopping questions, you know, the one, hello, how much is it? And then how to convert to appointments. And you want to learn how to convert professionally, confidently, and comfortably. There are definitely strategies to it. It doesn't need to be pushy or aggressive when you do it the way I tell you to. So here's what you're going to get. Of course, you get the live interactive online training. It's a lot like this one, but we're not going to do mystery calls. I'm going to give you the exact scripts, and I'm going to be very specific about what you do in each incident. And then I'm going to open it up for Q&A. I'm going to do Q&A here too, but you'll get a lot more Q&A there up to, I'll probably present for about 45 minutes, and then I'll leave the phones open and answer all your questions. And people love this part, the Q&A, because they can ask specific questions about what they run into themselves. You'll also get the DVD replay so you can watch this again and again. Or if you've got new staff who starts, boy, the first thing I would do is give them this package and have them go through this, because anyone who touches the phones has got to know what to say. You'll also get the PowerPoint slides with the scripts that you can refer to quickly. And then you'll get the 5-Phone Fixes laminated guide with the fundamentals that must be handled on every single call. And then in addition to that, especially when you have a receptionist who's new, or if you need to get down these fundamentals, you know how repetition is the mother of learning? We have this 5-Phone Fixes exercise pad, and you put it on the receptionist's desk, and they fill out this pad for each call. They fill out a form for each call, and it gets the fundamentals etched into their mind so it becomes second nature. So you get all of that for only $597, or we can do 2 payments for only $325. And it's all sitting at easystafftraining.com. And here's the good news. All you do is buy one, and all the other staff can come for free. That's a deal. And of course, everything I do is always guaranteed. So if you're not happy with the training for whatever reason, I've never had this happen before, but if for whatever reason, if you didn't like it, you can let me know and return it, and I'll just give you your money back. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to open it up now for Q&A. And if you have a question for me or a comment about today's mystery calls, just go ahead and jot them into the question box to the right of your screen, and then I will answer them anonymously. Okay? But I sure would love to have you at that training. It's just really been helpful for so many practices who are doing a good job, but not a great job. Okay, so let's talk about some questions. We have super busy phones since we are ENT and cosmetic, so we don't have too much time to bond with the caller as you suggest. Okay, let me just say this about that. When you have super busy phones, that means, and especially if you're doing managed care and cosmetic, you do know there's a big difference there between a patient who's calling with a credit card or with an insurance card. The patient who's calling with a credit card wants service, and they want it now. The other patient, it's just the reality of the world. You have got to figure out, how do you give great customer service to everybody, but how do you give really good service to cosmetic? Because they are going to hand you a cash, procedure there. You really do have to figure that out. So it has to do with the processes in your office. Is there some way you can triage these calls? Or is there some way you can set up a different phone line for cosmetic versus the managed care side of your practice? You've got to get creative about this. I would actually have a brainstorming session with the staff and say, okay, you guys, we know the phones are an issue here. We know they're a problem. People walking by are trying to answer phones. They don't know what they're talking about. Like, we've got to get these phones under control. It's that important for you to figure out if indeed you want to be successful at cosmetic medicine, because I got to tell you, your competitors who are not doing both, who are doing strictly cosmetic, they're going to run circles around you if indeed somebody is calling from the internet and they're just calling around. The phone experience is everything. So please come up with some things you can do to make that easier. Another question, the caller asks about price and doesn't want to engage at all. For sure. Okay, I understand that. That's why you've got to right out of the gate, your introduction and your bonding and that getting them engaged, you have got to use your voice to do that. You want to be friendly, you want to give your name. And already the second, when somebody calls and they didn't talk yet because they've got to hear it from you. Can you imagine they're going to call and they're just going to say, how much is it? But you answer the phone, good afternoon. Like some offices really are into it. Like, good afternoon. You call Dr. So-and-so's office where beauty begins. It's Allison speaking. How may I help you today? When you answer like that, it really has a tendency to take the caller's defense mechanism down, and they're not so abrupt now. Do you hear the difference there? And then you want to ask simple questions, even if the caller is still not warmed up yet and says something like, oh, how much is your Botox? Now she's got some leverage because the caller is waiting for that answer. So you do have a minute. You can start to engage them by asking just something very simple. Sure, I can help you with that. First, tell me, have you ever had Botox before? And just keep it that simple. Or is this your first time? Or, just very simple question. That is the best you can do because now you've tried twice to do what you can. You've got your voice. You've asked a couple questions. And then if they want to know how much it is, at least for heaven's sakes, pre-frame it before you start throwing out pricing, because it's not all just about price. It's about, let's say your physician is a board certified plastic surgeon who does his own injectables, or let's say your nurse injector has, been there for 10 years, or, come up with something else that you can say before you start throwing out pricing. Okay. Let's see. Sometimes callers ask more detailed questions that the patient coordinator would best answer. Is it okay for the receptionist to ask for contact info for the surgery scheduler, doctor's assistant, to call them back directly to best assist them? They will only ask for a message if the coordinator is tied up with another patient at that time. All right, here's the thing. It depends. Isn't that the truth? It depends. If you've got a caller who's on the internet and she's just calling down the line, she's just going right down the line because she sees that you offer this and so do, 100 others. So you have to decide, if she doesn't know you from Adam, she's just going to say, yeah, okay, well, all right, well, I guess you can call me back. But then she's going to keep calling others. It's not like she's tied to you. Unless, of course, it came referred, but then she wouldn't be on the website. She would have called you. Actually, I take that back. She could have been referred, but now she went to the website. So she is willing to give you your number and have a call back. It just depends. Because if you're playing the internet game and you're spending a fortune on Google AdWords and pay-per-click and SEO, boy, you better be on your game, because those patients are gnats. They come and go very, very quickly. So is that the best thing to have the coordinator call? No. Here's what you do when you're an premier plastic surgery practice. Here's what you do. Anybody should be able to answer very simple, frequently asked questions about a procedure. Just simple ones. Because all you're going to do is, and I'll talk about this more on the training. I'll leave it at that. I'll talk about more about that on the training. You should be able to answer and then get on with, let me see when we can get you in here. Okay. So if that's what you have to do, is have the coordinator call back, I think I don't think it's the best game to play. It's better than nothing. But then, boy, that coordinator better call back very quickly. And as a matter of fact, the receptionist should probably say, I'll have her call you back within the hour. What number should I reach you at? And then make sure that happens, because now your credibility is online. I'd like to hear it. Yes, DO, you are going to be getting the recording. I will send this out later this afternoon. Let's see. How effective is it to transfer the call to a different live person since our phones are busy? Right? So CK, you might have been a little late on that. It's pretty darn important. However, here's the goal. The goal is answer a caller's questions with a live person so they have enough information to go on to book the consultation. You just have to figure out how to make that happen in your office. During my training, I will give you lots of tips and tricks and strategies to make that happen. But it's important because there are just too many others they can call who could give them an answer right now. They don't have to wait for a call back. That's the reality. Okay. There's a question. What if we can't attend next Wednesday for your training? And that's okay, because the part that you're going to miss is the interactive part where I can answer questions like I'm doing right now. But it's a pretty thorough training. So I think you're going to have plenty to go on. And we're going to be sending you the full hard copy package anyway. So you can still go to easystafftraining.com, go ahead and invest in it. And then you're going to get the package. We do it on Wednesday, and then we send out the packages on Thursday. So you'll have them, depending on where you live, you'll have them within the next week. And then you can certainly have some staff time, listen to the webinar or the online training. You can go through the deliverables, the scripts I offer, and the tools, and that'll work beautifully for you. Now, here's an interesting question. How do I know if I have the right person that needs training or the wrong person who wouldn't get better with training? That's so true. We have a saying, get the right people on the bus and then get them in the right seats. I'm so glad you mentioned this. This is imperative. I am assuming you have the right person answering your phones, and that's a terrible assumption to make. You don't just stick anybody up there. You don't just put some intern up there who's, 17 and has never had a job before and has no idea what she's doing. The phones are just vital to your success. So you really want to make sure you've got somebody with the right attitude. They don't need the skills. I can train them on the skills. They need the attitude. And I'm telling you, they need the voice inflection. Do you hear how I'm using my voice to talk to you? You need somebody who maybe wants to be an actor or has done a lot of public speaking, or who used to be on the debate team, or people who just love people, customer service oriented people. That's who you need on those phones, because there's a talent or a skill to building a relationship with your voice. And then also the attitude, being open to getting better at their skills. They're open to new suggestions. And that's what I offer, because I got to tell you, I was a receptionist, probably my first job out. I came from Chicago, and I had a downtown Chicago job, and I answered phones for, 2 years or something in a very elite engineering company. As a matter of fact, on the training, you're going to see what I used to look like. It is so funny. Anyway, so they need training. They need the right attitude. And you need to make sure you have the right person up there, because you don't need to train them if you don't think, you already know right now. I got to tell you, in your gut, you already know if you've got the right person or the wrong person. If you've walked by and you've cringed when you've heard the phones, you need to make a change. And you don't need to fire somebody. You can relocate them to another position somewhere in the back line, somewhere where they're not with the patients or answering the phones. Maybe they're better suited for social media or accounting, or who knows, but maybe, just not there. But then when you do have the right person, boy, give them the training they need. Okay. And with that, I am done. I hope that was super helpful, and you'll get the replay. And then please join me for that training at easystafftraining.com. I'll see you next week. Thanks.